Part 24.11 Surah An-Nur, the Light. Assalamu alaikum. Welcome back to Sufi Essence with Hammad Syed, Kanzal Iman, Quran, An-Nur, the Light. 24:51-55. Verse 51. The saying of the believers when they are called to Allah and His Messenger, that the Messenger may judge between them, is only that they say, "We hear and we obey," and it is they who are the successful. Verse 52. And whosoever obeys Allah and His Messenger and fears Allah and keeps His duty, then it is they who are the triumphant. Verse 53. And they swear by Allah with their solemn oaths that if you command them, they will surely march forth. I say, do not swear. A known obedience is better. Indeed, Allah is well aware of what you do. Verse 54. Say, obey Allah and obey the Messenger. But if you turn away, then upon him is only what he has been charged with, and upon you is what you have been charged with. And if you obey him, you will be guided. And upon the Messenger is only the clear delivery of the message. Verse 55. Allah has promised those among you who believe and perform good deeds, that He will surely grant them succession authority in the land, just as He granted succession to those before them, and that He will surely establish for them their religion, which He has chosen for them, and that He will surely replace their fear with security. They will worship Me and associate nothing with Me, and whosoever disbelieves after this, then it is they who are the transgressors. My deeply attentive and discerning listeners, having meticulously dissected the profound spiritual pathology in the self-serving, conditional compliance of the hypocrites in our previous session, our study now pivots with a majestic and undeniable force to the glorious, unassailable standard of true faith and the magnificent, unparalleled reward reserved for those souls who attain it. These verses 24:51-55 meticulously draw a sharp, indelible contrast between the calculating self-interest and corrosive duplicity of nifaq and the radiant, comprehensive, and unconditional submission of the sincere believer, culminating in one of the most monumental and theologically significant divine assurances in the entirety of the Quran, the promise of spiritual and temporal empowerment Istikhlāf on earth. This segment provides the blueprint for how a community can transmute its internal spiritual sincerity into external political and social dominance, revealing the profound truth that political sovereignty is merely the outward expression of a refined and pure interior state. The definitive statement of true Iman is captured with powerful economy and immense spiritual weight in verse 24:51. The saying of the believers when they are called to Allah and His Messenger, that the Messenger may judge between them, is only that they say, "We hear and we obey," and it is they who are the successful. The instantaneous, unreserved response of the true believer is the total, luminous antithesis of the hypocrite's reluctant avoidance and cynical calculation. 24:48. It is a joyous, immediate, and unconditional submission encapsulated in the profound declaration, "We hear and we obey." Samian wa akan. This phrase is not merely a linguistic affirmation. It is the essential, comprehensive hallmark of a sound, illuminated Kaaba heart that has fully surrendered its autonomous will to the divine. The believer subjects their personal disputes and existential concerns to the judgment of the Messenger, peace be upon him, not because the outcome is anticipated to be personally favorable or socially convenient, but because the source of the judgment, the sacred law of Elias, recognized as the absolute, non-negotiable truth and the singular path to personal purification and communal justice. This act of immediate, unconditional surrender to the Sharia is presented as the very definition of authentic virtue, culminating in the absolute, inspiring assurance. And it is they who are the successful al-muflihun. This fala, success is not a temporary, fleeting worldly gain. It is the comprehensive, eternal triumph of spiritual victory that encompasses both the profound purity and tranquility of the soul in this fleeting life and the highest, most enduring reward in the eternal hereafter. The comprehensive nature of this fala is further elaborated and sealed in the subsequent verse 24:52, which meticulously identifies the essential, interwoven components required for the attainment of ultimate, everlasting victory. And whosoever obeys Allah and His Messenger fears Allah and keeps his duty, then it is they who are the triumphant. The path to the ultimate triumph of Sizan is anchored by three inseparable, profoundly interconnected spiritual pillars. The first is Akba, unconditional, active obedience to Allah and His Messenger, which is the practical, tangible manifestation of Iman in daily life. The second is Khalf, the proper, reverential fear of Allah, which serves as the protective, emotional boundary, a sophisticated mechanism of the soul that prevents conscious transgression and keeps the ego in check. The third is Taqwa, keeping one's duty and maintaining continuous consciousness of Allah, which is the constant, vigilant spiritual state of acute awareness, ensuring that every thought, word, and deed is aligned with the divine pleasure. It is the perfect, integrated harmony of this triad of profound spiritual qualities: action, emotion, and continuous awareness that elevates the individual from the rudimentary state of mere compliance to the glorious, elevated status of triumph of Sizan, confirming that true victory is, at its deepest core, fundamentally a spiritual and ethical accomplishment. Having established the radiant, elevated standard of the true believer, the discourse briefly, yet powerfully, returns to the darkness of the hypocrite, systematically exposing the sheer spiritual worthlessness and hollowness of their oaths in verse 24:53. And they swear by Allah with their solemn oaths that if you command them, they will surely march forth. Say, do not swear. A known obedience is better. Indeed, Allah is well aware of what you do. The hypocrites, having been definitively exposed by their recalcitrant refusal to submit to the judgment 24:48, attempt a compensatory act of public relations by offering grand, unnecessary, and dramatic solemn oaths, Amna Olgelkea, of absolute military or political obedience. They promise to march forth Yakruna into battle if commanded. The divine response rejects this theatrical, desperate display of false piety with devastating, concise simplicity. Do not swear. A known obedience is better. The worth of 1,000 solemn, verbose oaths is rendered utterly meaningless when weighed against the simple, single, consistent, known obedience, Kayatan Mufa, an obedience that is established, proven, and externally recognized through the unwavering commitment of continuous, righteous action, entirely unmarred by theatrical displays, false promises, or ostentatious posturing. The fundamental, unassailable issue is never the absence of verbal oaths, but the fatal absence of sincere sincerity and profound spiritual conviction. The final, penetrating admonition, indeed Allah is well aware of what you do, serves as the ultimate, chilling warning that their internal, hidden reservations, their spiritual pathologies, and the deeply conditional nature of their compliance are fully, perfectly, and eternally known to the Omniscient, to whom all secrets are manifest. Verse 24:54 then acts as a crucial theological clarification, establishing the essential division of responsibility and thereby insulating the sacred mission of the messenger, peace be upon him, from the corruption and failure of the hypocrites. Say, obey Allah and obey the messenger. But if you turn away, then upon him is only what he has been charged with, and upon you is what you have been charged with. And if you obey him, you will be guided. And upon the messenger is only the clear delivery of the message. The message is presented as a profound, crystal clear, spiritual contract. The duty of humanity is simple and non-negotiable: obey Allah and obey the messenger. The messenger's role is precisely and spiritually confined to clear delivery al-balgh, al-mubd, of the message. He is not held accountable for the salvation of individuals who willfully reject his message, nor is he tasked with the impossible mission of compelling their internal submission.
Ow.
The consequential weight of the contract rests entirely and irrevocably upon the shoulders of the individual. Upon him is only what he has been charged with, and upon you is what you have been charged with. This powerfully establishes the core theological principle of individual accountability to clout. Furthermore, the ultimate benefit of the contract is made explicit, and if you obey him, you will be guided. The obedience to the messenger is thus confirmed as the practical, necessary mechanism by which the newer light of the revelation is accessed, transforming potential knowledge into lived ethical and spiritual reality. The entire discourse, having defined the spiritual purity required of the believer, culminates in the most magnificent and comprehensive promise of the entire surah: the assurance of divine empowerment and enduring temporal success for the sincere community. In verse 24:55, Allah has promised those among you who believe and perform good deeds that He will surely grant them succession authority in the land, just as He granted succession to those before them, and that He will surely establish for them their religion, which He has chosen for them, and that He will surely replace their fear with security. This verse is the ultimate culmination of the call to purity, obedience, and submission, providing the external institutional reward for the internal spiritual discipline. The promise is of Istikhlāf succession, vicegerency, or authority in the land. A profound declaration signifying the granting of political and social dominance, allowing the community of sincere believers to establish the divine law as the governing, sovereign order. This mandate is explicitly referenced by the historical analogy, just as He granted succession to those before them, reminding them that the children of Israel were granted the land after enduring generations of fear and persecution under Pharaoh, confirming that this is an established divine pattern. The promise is coupled with three magnificent, interconnected assurances that define the nature of the blessed society. First is the establishment of the religion Tamkin ad-Din, the promise that Islam, as the way of life definitively chosen by Allah for humanity, will be firmly rooted, granted stability, and rendered secure from internal or external threat. Second is the transformation of the political and psychological state from fear-khawf to absolute security. And this is not just personal safety, but the establishment of the rule of law Sharia, which ensures justice, protects the sanctity of life and property, and removes the existential anxiety of persecution. This spiritual transformation into security is the primary, tangible reward for their unwavering Tawhid. However, this grand promise is not an unconditional birthright or an automatic guarantee. It is a profound, non-negotiable covenant, contingent upon the absolute, untainted purity of the community's Tawhid. They will worship me and associate nothing with me. This is the absolute theological linchpin of the entire promise. The attainment of temporal power, social dominance, political security is not presented as the goal of the community, but the inevitable consequence of its absolute, unyielding, and singular dedication to Allah alone. To it, the absolute rejection of shirk associating partners with Allah, and the unconditional dedication of all worship. Devotion and sovereignty to the One is the necessary spiritual, political, and ethical foundation for any form of true, enduring, and divinely sanctioned success on earth. The final, stark, and absolute warning reasserts the consequence of violating this covenant, and whosoever disbelieves after this, then it is they who are the transgressors fifikin. This is the ultimate, chilling verdict. If the community is granted power and then fails to uphold the purity of Tawhid or abandons the law, they commit the gravest spiritual and ethical transgression, forfeiting their divine mandate and ensuring their own eventual spiritual and temporal collapse. The promise of Istikhlāf thus stands as a permanent, luminous reminder that spiritual purity and absolute obedience are the only source of enduring legitimate temporal power and comprehensive peace. Hadith, the Prophet, peace be upon him, taught, I have left you to matters by holding to which you shall never go astray, the Book of Allah and the Sunnah of His Messenger. This hadith, recorded in Al-Muwatta Hadith, No. 1661, serves as a fundamental explanation of the obedience commanded in verses 24:51, 52, and 24:54. The obedience to the Messenger, peace be upon him, is the practical mechanism by which the Book of Allah, the Quran, is applied and understood. The hearing and obeying of the believers is therefore an unwavering commitment to the combined authority of the revelation Y and the prophetic methodology, Sunnah.
Yes.
This unconditional commitment is the precise spiritual and legal prerequisite for receiving the majestic promise of Istikhlāf and security mentioned in verse 24:55. Let us now supplicate, drawing from the profound lessons of these verses, asking Allah to grant us a deeper understanding and to guide our every step. Dua, O Allah, the granter of authority, bestow upon our hearts the profound utterance of we hear and we obey, making it the unshakable foundation of our Iman, Protect us from the vanity of empty oaths and the hypocrisy of conditional submission, O El-Hakam. Fulfill your magnificent promise to us, granting us Istikhlāf on earth, replacing our fear with absolute security, and establishing your chosen religion among us. Enable us to dedicate all our worship to you alone, without associating anything with you, so that we may be among the truly successful and triumphant, O ArRahman. May Allah illuminate your heart and mind with the light of this divine ill. May He make your channel a beacon of guidance for all who seek spiritual clarity and truth. May your efforts be a source of immense reward, and may you be granted the highest stations of paradise. May the peace and blessings of Allah always be upon you and your loved ones. May He grant you unwavering steadfastness on the path of truth, and may your work be a testament to His magnificent names, ArRahman and ArRaheem. Amin.